Hi there, it's day 20 of your reset, and today we're jumping into the topic of fats, so healthy fats and not so healthy fats and poison. And this is really important because tomorrow morning, so after dinner tonight, you want to stop eating, and then tomorrow morning, if you feel up to it, it's a good moment to experiment a bit of an intermittent fast to see how your metabolism is adjusting and whether you're able to burn fat instead of just burning sugar and carbohydrates. And if we want to burn fat, it's really important that we're able to distinguish between the different fat families. Okay, if you've come onto this video, if you found this video on YouTube and you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a link underneath the video that will take you to the page on my website which explains everything about this ancestral health, primal health detox and reset program. So let's get into it. Every cell in our body needs healthy fats. If you want to be a fat burner, you need to eat the right fats. If we want to reduce pain and inflammation, we have to avoid the bad ones, right? So today we're looking at the different families of fats, the good, the bad, and the poison. What's so good about healthy fats? Healthy fats are an exceptional source of energy, providing over double the calories per gram of protein and carbohydrates. Plus, healthy fats are essential for many of our metabolic processes. They're an important material for the construction and the repair and the functioning of organs and cells and hormones. And the brain itself consists, they say, of up to around 60% fat. Healthy fats, as well, as we know, are super satisfying. They taste good, and together with complete protein, they provide the feeling of satiety. So with the right amount of fat in our meals, we feel full for a long time, which means that we're less likely to go seeking out unhealthy snacks, right? But yes, we need to know which fats are healthy. There are 4 different fat families, and we need to be aware of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Saturated fats are an excellent source of fat, especially for cooking. Monounsaturated fats are a great source of fat. Polyunsaturated fats are a little bit difficult. And trans fats, or partially hydrogenated fats, are poison. Okay, so let's take a look at them one by one. Saturated fats. Saturated fats are an excellent source of fat. Saturated fats are solid when they're cold. Yeah, so if you think about butter, or if you think about coconut oil, or if you think about the, if you put it, when olive oil gets really cold, and some of it will be liquid, and some of it'll be solid. Yeah, that's the saturated fat. Saturated fats are very stable when they're exposed to air, heat, and light, which makes them the healthiest choice for cooking. They're essential for our cell membranes, they're an optimal source of energy, and they contain large amounts of the fat-soluble vitamins such as K2 and A and D. And saturated fats are found mainly in animal fats, right? This is why it's so important to be eating protein and fats that come from animal sources. So good sources of saturated fats are butter and clarified butter, whole cream, duck fat, lard, which is pork fat, and tallow, which is beef fat, eggs, bacon, animal fat in general, and then all of your forms of coconut oil, coconut flakes, coconut milk, coconut cream, etc. There's a tip here. We want to avoid residues of pesticides and hormones and antibiotics and toxic metals and etc. We want to be avoiding all of that. So it's really important to source your saturated fat from organically farmed livestock and pastured livestock whenever possible. Monosaturated fats are known as MUFAs, MUFAs. So MUFA stands for monounsaturated fatty acid, and they're pretty good sources of fat as well. They're not as stable as saturated fat, so they shouldn't be the first choice for cooking, okay? It's much better to use them fresh as a condiment. So we're sort of talking here like extra virgin olive oil. They improve your monounsaturated fats, improve blood pressure and lower cholesterol levels, reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. They promote healthy insulin and blood sugar levels, and they have an anti-inflammatory effect. And they're found in a wide variety of vegetable oils and animal products, right? So your good sources of monounsaturated fats are avocado, macadamia nuts, olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, eggs, almonds, and Brazil nuts. And a tip here for monounsaturated fats is to buy olive oil and extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, etc., only in dark containers and store them in a dark place, right? And that's because they're not as stable as your saturated fats, and they will deteriorate when they're exposed to light. So we only want to buy them in dark, opaque containers. Now, your polyunsaturated fats are known as PUFAs, right? So that's polyunsaturated fatty acids, and they're difficult, okay? Now, in the right proportions, they're fantastic and necessary for our health, but they're very unstable. And that means that when they're exposed to heat, air, and light, they oxidize and become rancid, creating free radicals. So your most famous polyunsaturated fats are omega-3 and omega-6, right? Now, omega-3 and omega-6 are essential fatty acids because our bodies cannot produce them on their own. We have to receive them through the diet. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory and omega-6 is inflammatory. Now, the optimal ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 is 1:1, right? Because we need inflammation, but we also need to lose that inflammation once the healing is done, right? The problem that we have today with omega-6 and omega-3 is that today most of the global population, if not all, is consuming way too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3. So instead of having a 1:1 ratio, what we're seeing is like a 10 or even a 25:1 ratio with a major part of omega-6, which is inflammatory. We're going to be looking more at this in a couple of days, okay? So your good sources of polyunsaturated fats, animals and fish raised in their natural environment are excellent. Green leaves and algae, and cold-pressed olive oil and wild salmon and sardines and mackerel. They're all really good sources of polyunsaturated fats, as well as a good omega-3 supplement, but we'll talk about that in a couple of days. Your bad sources of polyunsaturated fats are all of those oils that you find in the supermarket in clear bottles, which are good for frying, okay? So your bad sources of polyunsaturated fats are industrialized oils from seeds and vegetables, right? So your sunflower oil, corn, peanut, rapeseed, soy, palm, safflower oil, all of these oils need to be eliminated from the diet. Just get rid of them, okay? There are oils that are okay in moderation, such as linseed oil and cold-pressed walnut oil. Nuts, so walnuts and almonds and hazelnuts, they're okay in moderation, and seeds as well. So sunflower, pumpkin, sesame seeds, all of that, all of your seeds, they're okay as well in moderation. We don't want to go overboard. And the tip here is to counterbalance your PUFA intake with foods that are rich in antioxidants that fight free radicals, okay? Take a high-quality omega-3 supplement, yeah? And yes, I can recommend the one that we take. Do that in a couple of days. And then your partially hydrogenated fats and trans fats, poison, yeah? These are not food, right? They're chemical and they're harmful. They should be banned for life. They're not natural. They cause damage at the cellular level. They increase levels of unhealthy cholesterol while at the same time depleting healthy cholesterol. They significantly increase the risk of heart disease, right? This is, it's scandalous. It's absolutely scandalous that these oils are allowed to be produced, and they're a major part of the industrialized food machine. Yeah, the industrialized food machine is dependent upon these oils, and they are so inflammatory that it's no joke. So your sources of partially hydrogenated fats and trans fats, margarines, fake butter, sprays, industrial foods such as cookies and cakes and crackers and ready-made meals and chips and anything that the food industry produces, fast food, your Kentucky, your Hungry Jacks, all of that, and all of your fried foods, right? Yes, but we're going to be looking at this in the next little while. But the problem here is that our DNA is programmed to crave and consume fats right? Because we need it. Every cell in our body depends on it, but the body brain can't distinguish between the unhealthy fats and the bad fats, right? And the industrial and the food industry sort of like thrives on this, and it's packed and the packaged foods that we find in the supermarkets and the fried foods and the foods which which are so good because they're fried in these oils, they're very addictive, but they're doing nothing for our health. Okay, so one of the most important things you can do is to eliminate all of these dangerous fats from your diet and replace them with healthy bioavailable fats, right? This is one of the most important things you can do. If you haven't thrown out of your pantry all of the industrialized seed and vegetable oils, then do so now. Yeah, you don't want them there, and you don't want them in your cells, right? Eat more healthy fats, right? This is one of the big tricks to health, right? Just eat more healthy fats: olives, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado, coconut, macadamia nuts, sardines, salmon, mackerel, bacon and eggs and saturated animal fats, and take a good quality omega-3 supplement every day. And I've written here, every cell in your body will love you for the change, right? It really is one of the, cutting out the carbohydrates, cutting out the carbohydrates and cutting out the industrialized seed oils is basically the trick to good health, and going to bed early and moving, but in terms of diet, switching from high carb to low carb and getting rid of these industrialized oils is going to change your life. Okay, so in the eat section today, we've got the recommendation to stop eating tonight at 8 o'clock. Get up tomorrow morning, see how you feel, stay attentive to the signals and the signs that you're receiving from your body, and then just see if you can go through until midday without eating. So just see if you can, if you feel up to trying this little intermittent fast, see if your body and your metabolism is working in a way that you can burn fat for energy, with no stress, no anxiety, no sense of desperation. And again, if you feel like you're starting to feel hungry, if you feel like you're starting to get a little bit anxious or nervous, then that is your body telling you that it's time to eat. Prepare a delicious paleo meal. Okay, get in touch with me if you need to on this. And good. Okay, so the recommendation for movement today is because it's Saturday, do an extended aerobic exercise, couple of hours, 2-3 hours, out trekking in the mountains or in the hills or in town or wherever you go. But if you can get into nature, that is the best thing you can do. And do remember to spend 5 or 10 minutes in your journal, writing a little bit about your experiences, about how you want to be feeling at the end of this reset. So, projecting a little bit ahead so that we know where we're going. Yeah, and that way we've got more, we're more likely to get there. Okay, doing an amazing job, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, ciao.